Yo guys, what's good? As here once again with another Exos series video. Today we're talking about Yupir's Labyrinth 4th stage against Jinn. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so you ask and I try to deliver. The question for this time was, can we beat stage 4 with only rares and legendaries? Is it possible to do it without any faded, without any like special method? Yeah, it is. That's the short answer. So I have a clip for you, so I recorded this already and I wanted to go over the heroes. Let me quickly introduce you to what actually makes this stage beatable. And it is focused shot. Afflicts target with a focus fire mark and decreased dodge block for 1 round on basic attack. This is your golden ticket. You want this in your team. So I tried a bunch of things around, and let me walk you through the process on how I try to accomplish these things one by one. So probably some of you guys know I have a Rara. I like my Rara. She's pretty well geared, and she's basically my staple. So I went with her in the stage, only her, and did auto attacks to apply this focused shot. And I wanted to see how much of her hit is actually needed. So she's at 133, right? And I tried it then with Otard, who is at 118, so I had a good baseline. Otard hit maybe 1 out of 6 or 7 hits, while Rara was hitting consistently every single auto attack. Maybe one miss in like 3 or 4 runs, but once she applied the focus fire mark, she never missed anymore. Okay, so this gave me a good indication on where to go from there. So then my Astarte is at 122, and I tried it again and again and again. She was maybe hitting like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 times, and that's not good enough. So I went through my roster and I tried to see heroes that had more hit, and then I was seeing like my Reed Marie. She has 126, so I tried to go in with her, and yep, she was hitting maybe 1 in 2, 1 in 3, and that gave me a solid indication that I need to reach close to 130. So I went further and found my Zyrene. My Zyrene had pretty decent gear, so she was at 128, and this is basically the breakpoint to barely consistently hit. If you can get it to 130, that would be even better. You need the 128, 120, like 126 to 128 on your focus fire heroes. When I tried it just with Zyrene and a bunch of other heroes, it wasn't consistent enough if I brought her alone, so I brought Reed Marie with her, and yeah, that worked out pretty fine. I got some dodges, which is expected, but not as much as to break the run. So if Reed Marie wasn't hitting it, fairly surely Zyrene was applying the focus fire mark, and once it's down, every single auto attack was, or every single attack was basically hits. I didn't get crits too much. I don't know if that has to do with the hit chance on top of it, but yeah. So the team that I settled with was, let's get these, was my starter, and let's quickly show her gear. so you can see what I was working with. It's not the best gear, but it's also not like super beginner friendly. You need to have solid damage on at least one unit, and a starter is probably the best to do that job. You might be able to do it with Kirina as well, but because of the burst and the fact that my Astarte is 6-star, I can deal so much more damage than with Kirina, who is only 5-star and doesn't have a burst. You might be able to do it, but be aware of mana. So here with the nature, if one of my units drop low, Starter gets more mana and I can do her damage bursts more often, while blocking is almost impossible because Jinn will just one-shot everybody on your team. Okay, so we have a starter, we have Reed Marie, and let's also quickly show that. So her I didn't actually gear further up because I wanted to see the differences. The higher hit you give her, the better it is. Attack speed is not so important. You need to get above 115 because that's Jinn's speed. You don't want to have a scenario where Jinn nukes one of your units down immediately and you cannot gain mana through attacks anymore. You want to have your 2 focus fire heroes faster, and luckily for us most of them are super fast. So these are her stats once more, and she's at 120. She's the first one to go. Then we have here my Kaya. So for her, I actually wanted to have more attack speed because the hit literally didn't matter. It's just on that gear because that was the attack speed gear that I had. And yeah, so that is her gear and her stats. The 112 you will see once the focus fire mark is applied does not matter at all. She will hit all auto attacks constantly. I was using Karin as my reviver. You need a reviver and it has to be either Karin or Lepin, just for the fact that they are the only ones who can generate mana fairly consistently. Karin is the best one because you will have situations where units are fairly low and Karin will get the mana. Lepin is the second best because from time to time you will block and thus gain this. Jinn will not block, he will just dodge everything, so don't count on that. So yeah, Karin would be optimal here, and again hit chance didn't matter. And lastly my Zareen. Here I tried to get her hit as high as I could with the gear that I have. So you can see, like, I don't even have pieces available currently that I could put on her to get to a higher hit chance. If you have one faded piece floating around, consider throwing it on her just to get the hit chance above 130. So 128 and then 119 speed. Another unit that would be considerable would be Derridon. He is slightly above 115 speed, so he will still... he's technically 116 speed, I think, but it's rounded down or rounded up, I don't know. He will go before Jinn. And he has 127, so same situation, like just get his hit a little bit higher to get to that 130-ish mark, and it will be great for you. Most of the time you will do auto attacks, so I would never replace him with Zareen. Zareen is the key champion, the key hero here, but Reed Marie could easily be replaced with him. He also increases his own hit by 6, which is pretty good because that brings him above the 130. And if you get to that mana, to the 5 mana, then you will also be able to deal some more damage, which makes the fight easier. Okay, so let's quickly check out Zyrene once more. So the reason why you never want to replace Zyrene is because she has this increases hit of all allies by 4. This basically helps your secondary focus fire person also land their hits. You don't need it for the other 3, it's just used for your second focus fire focused shot hero. And she also deals some okay-ish damage, nothing special. Most of your damage will come from your nuker, Astarte or Karina, whoever you pick there. Alright, so here we have the match, and I sped it up by 2 times, so it just goes a little bit quicker because there isn't too much to talk about. And actually, let's increase the speed a little bit more, because nobody needs to see this in particular, but I don't want to cut it out. It's still important to see some of the things that I'm doing in terms of how I try to gain mana. I only use auto attacks and heal from time to time. Okay, now we are at Jinn and drop the speed down to twice. So here you can see one of the dodges, Focus Flame goes on and I hit. Then my starter gets popped right away, which is a little bit of a bummer because I cannot get enough mana with my Karin for a long time. This is actually one of the worst scenarios. So here you can see my second focus fire one is also dead, and here I did a mistake. I shouldn't have healed because my Karin would have gotten to 5 mana. But yeah, my Zyrene luckily doesn't get popped immediately, and thus I can do the revive. So now dodge again, Focus Flame goes on, I deal some more damage, and here a lucky dodge. I heal with everybody up, so everybody is basically at max HP, and now it's about controlling the fight. You can see I have focus fire on almost 100% of the time. If Jinn pops your reviver, you're basically done. Unless you're already halfway through and you have focus fire on everything, you have to restart. There's nothing you can do. As you can see with Zyrene and Reed Marie, I constantly try to apply the focus fire. Here, both of them got dodged, which was kind of unlucky. I revive again. The good thing is that Reed Marie is the first hero to go, so once I'm able to revive with Karin, I can immediately go before Jinn and apply the necessary damage that needs to be there. Alright, so yeah, that was already it. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It helps me out a lot, and I do more videos like this all the time where I try to beat content with as little resources as possible. As you can see, I haven't delved into the maze too much because I'm trying to do other videos, and this freaking one-time day entrance, I don't like it, but it is what it is. I don't think Maze 5 is possible with only rares. I will try it tomorrow if there is a chance. And yeah, I will just go through the different sky parts. I actually haven't checked out if Maze 4 in Skypath is the same as Skygate. But yeah, I will make videos on 4 and 5 if they're different enough and try to beat them with rares and give you something to work with. With all that said, it was a pleasure to have you here, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the grind.